Good afternoon, IBYMA. Brian here. I don't even know why I felt the need to do that. Making a video today upon request of Alldoom, asking me to detail the techniques in which I happen to manipulate my weapon. As you can see, it seems really flowery and overemphasized. It's all over the place. It's crazy looking. Exploit that. It's something that one needs to gain ground and momentum to use. When I'm approximately this far away, I can't see the viewfinder on my camera, so I can't give an accurate representation of how this would be used. From a high guard, one can immediately change to a reverse grip side guard. And this can protect the body, believe it or not. It looks weird, but you can actually get a good bit of leverage and push and pull with a reverse grip. Now, first thing we're going to get into is the easiest thing you can learn when it comes to this, the finger spin. Start from what I call high guard. Now, a lot of people will teach you to keep what I think is the kashida, or the butt cap of one's sword, right in the top of one's right in the top of the field of one's vision, where it's not blinding you or blocking you, but you still are visually aware of its presence. It's simple. With your dominant hand, and you learn this with your dominant hand first, with your dominant hand, come down like you're going to stroke heaven to earth, but slowly let your wrist relax. Then your fingers relax. Then the blade rotates onto its side. Now, edge orientation is very, very, very important, because you could do one of these edge orientation changing, grit changing, position changing techniques, but if you don't catch edge on, like if the edge is not posing a threat to you, or if it isn't posing a threat to your opponent, then you did it wrong. Because the edge is the most dangerous part. One can catch the blade this way. I don't recommend it, and there's nothing you can do with that grip at all, but it looks awesome. But you start, and I'll do this with one hand just to emphasize the movement with the dominant hand. You start from heaven to earth, from a high guard, come down, let the blade turn onto its side. You let it gently, keep pressure applied with your thumb, and let it roll. And roll it through your fingers, a lot like a cheerleader would a baton. I hate to use that simile, but that's exactly what I'm doing here. Now, note, it never ever spins from one set of fingers to the next like that. It always spins through the index into the middle and into a reverse grip. That ensures that you catch edge on. Now I'm going to do this slow, and then I'm going to do this fast, alright? Are you ready? Alright. Now, moving on. We're going to try and do this quick, okay? Second technique we're going to detail is the palm spin. The palm spin is the technique I showed you right after the finger spin. Lower from heaven to earth. Relax your wrist and your fingers. Let the blade turn. This is very, very important, because if it turns too much or too little, the blade is either going to hit you, or you are not going to have it to where it's solidly sitting on your finger in between your thumb, so that you can begin the spin. Come down, relax the wrist, the fingers, rotate, come down. Point of the sword is behind you, and the edge of the sword is away from you. However, the Kashida still poses a threat to the enemy. The blade and edge still poses a threat to one's enemy. The point still poses a threat to one's enemy. However, the palm spin, comes down, around, through the fingers, and behind. Now, in order to better understand this technique, I'll do it from a forward grip, or an upright grip. At first, typically, you wrap your thumb around the index knuckle side of one's ska, or hilt, or grip, whatever. Then, turning one's wrist in a clockwise motion, you slowly let the blade sort of rotate end over end in your palm. Now, if you do this with enough momentum, I don't know if you can see this or not, it will rotate edge on in one's palm. I'll show you this just to, demonstrate. Thumb over, turn. Thumb over, turn. It's essentially where it rolls over the palm in this fashion, but there is a half of a turn in it. That way it's caught in reverse grip. The same is to be told with the reverse grip palm spin. One can actually draw from the saya in a reverse grip, tuck the thumb over the other side of the ska, and palm spin into a proper grip. I'm going to show you that again, okay? Finger spin, palm spin, draw, palm spin, strike, noto, finger spin, saya. Now, we're going to get into catches. The very easiest catch you can do is a rotation. Now, let me explain the difference between a rotation and a spin. The difference between a rotation and a spin is the rotation is where the blade itself rotates. Now, a spin is where the blade itself spins end over end. For instance, this is a rotation. Always do one's best to catch edge on. Do that again, okay? Now, I'm not perfect, so I won't say that I will catch it edge on, but I'm pretty good at it, considering I've been doing this for a while. That is the rotation. One simply gives it a very, very light toss while using the shape of the ska to slightly hook your fingers around and give it a slight yank, as if spinning a top with a piece of string. Then it's just an element of timing and practice to catch an edge on each time. Then, there is the spin. Ready? What happens is, one never, ever, ever allows the blade to rotate in the direction of the edge. A sword is swung with kinetic momentum. To spin in the direction of the edge is to provide the exact same thing. Only at that point it is no longer in your control. You could lose a hand, a wrist. This is why you do not do this technique with a real sword, and you only practice this technique with a bakken. Alright, Alldoom, I hope that provided you with the information you wanted, and I can't wait to see your video on the defensive principles of Kendo. Have a nice day, everybody.